When you hear Africa, what do you think? If you think jungles and villages with huts and people running around in loincloths, you wouldn't be completely wrong, but you wouldn't be completely right either. Unsurprisingly, what is portrayed in movies and on TV is not an accurate portrayal of life in Africa. I was born in West Africa and have lived 75% of my life in Ghana, with frequent trips back and forth to the United States. I've had a lot of people share their view of Africa with me, and I have shared the reality of life in Africa with many people. Although many of you have not been to Ghana and probably never will, you will probably meet many people from Ghana or Africa, and having a good understanding of what life is like there will help you in your relationships and prevent you from making uninformed statements that could hurt or offend. The three things that I want you to know about Ghana is its past history, its present, and its future. Ghana was originally known as the Gold Coast, and it has a unique history for its location. It's surrounded all around by French-speaking Muslim countries. Ghana, however, was originally settled in the 15th century by the Portuguese, and then in the 19th century it was taken over by the British. And the British are responsible for what Ghana is today. They're the main reason that the main language is English instead of French. Ghana was the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to declare its independence from colonization. Ghana declared its independence on March 6, 1957. They first had a large period of military rule, but by early 2000s they had settled into free elections with multiple parties. Now that we have a better understanding of how Ghana was founded, let's look at what it is like today. Ghana is a country in the adolescent stage of development. It's flexing its independence and figuring out which direction to go to achieve economic prosperity while maintaining its friendly, welcoming, peaceful roots. Ghana is the most stable country in the West African region. As such, it is the home to many military bases, both for the United States and countries in Europe. It's the fifth largest stock exchange in all of Africa, which is pretty impressive when you consider that you have some big countries like Morocco, Egypt, South Africa, and Nigeria. There's a wide variety of natural resources in Ghana. As I said, it was originally known as the Gold Coast because there was so much gold found there. They've also recently begun offshore oil drilling, natural gas production, and industrial mineral production. And it's also the second largest producer of cocoa in the whole world. There are many business opportunities and partnerships in Ghana with both the Americans, the Europeans, and also with China, who has invested a lot of money into the Ghanaian economy. Ghana was also the first sub-Saharan country to offer a cell phone network and one of the first countries to provide internet and DSL connections. And Ghana has a lot of restaurants and stores that we are familiar with in America, like KFC is very popular there, Pizza Hut, the Counter Burger, many supermarkets and movie theaters, and almost everyone either has a car or takes public transportation in the form of a taxi or a trotro, which is like a large van that people get in and it makes frequent stops. So now that we've seen where Ghana is today, let's look at where it's going in the future. As Ghana continues to grow and expand and find its footing, it is widely acknowledged to be the future of Africa. It is on track with a program called the 2020 Vision of Ghana that sometime between 2020 and 2029, it will become the first developed country in the continent of Africa. It's also on track to become the second industrialized country in Africa. The first is South Africa. It is projected to surpass India as the fastest growing economy in the world. It was originally China, then India, and now Ghana is projected to take over in the next year or two. So as we've seen Ghana's history, its present, and its future. And I hope now that you have more insight into what a country in Africa is like, and that this will help you in your future encounters with people from there. Overall, I hope what you gained is the big picture that life in Africa is complex and rich both in history, but it's also modern now, and it's also becoming a future nation to contend with.